And we should be live.
We should be live. We are so back.
Yes, we are on another computer.
Okay, nice. I can see it being live as well. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the next musical chairs stream. It's Sunday today. And let's just wait a minute or two. Maybe let us know if you can leave us. Hear us. You can also leave us if you
I was like, what the fuck, man? They just joined and you're telling them you can leave us.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. You can leave now. But yeah, I think we should be all good. Let me drink. We're gonna start. Most of people are watching this from the replay anyway. So yeah, hi everyone, welcome to the next weekly episode of the musical chairs. Before we jump into the stream, as always, we have a sponsor to chill. It's none other than Woo, which got pretty popular in the past recent weeks, but with all that's been going on, I think I don't know if we can kind of talk about this as well. If you guys have any questions about it or want to kind of understand the situation better, but with all that kind of happening, the stream is sponsored by Woo. If you want to show some support, you can use the link in the description. It's the first link in the description. You can make a new account. And after you open the trade, you will get a bunch of benefits that you see on the screen at the bottom part. So, with that being said, I think we can switch to some charts. We will start with BTC as always, and then I'm sorry. Then we're gonna talk about the altcoins. Okay, so BTC. To be fair, it's a third week in a row where we kind of sitting at the same price. These are the weekly candles, so you can kind of see the open. And obviously we're gonna have a new open candle in a few hours as well. We are sitting at this 37k area. I spoke about this last time. For me, this is decent amount of resistance we are at right now, and market has been kind of slowing down as well. There's been some nice moves in altcoins. BTC has been fairly range bound. What is kind of interesting is that it's still getting bought back very quickly. Like all the dips on Bitcoin, they are getting bought back fairly quickly. So that can be kind of a sign of being bullish, but at the same time, for me, this is level of resistance. We can see this kind of a huge consolidation basically from like I'm sorry, I just like something. Yeah. This consolidation from like start of 2022 basically, before we made this leg down. So for me this is still level of resistance, and you can see on kind of a daily time frame that we has been we kind of failed to make these new highs. Obviously, when market is in kind of like a tight compression or tight range, it usually breaks one way or the other. But so far, on Friday we had this kind of attempt. This is a BTC-USD index. It's going to be different on kind of different exchanges. I believe on Binance, for example, on perps on Binance, we still haven't traded above this kind of wick from 9th of November, but I like to use this index chart for like higher time frames, so I don't get kind of stuck on something on like one specific exchange basically. So yeah, like you can see that we had this attempt on Friday to break outside of it. We failed. We are selling off a little bit today. But yeah, this is going to kind of be a pivotal level for me coming into the next week. I think, let me show you this maybe on H4. We still have this kind of a grind up on, which is very visible here on the H4 chart. If we would start to kind of break down, I would really start to feel like we are going to be filling some of these lows. I don't think we necessarily have to come all the way down to 32. But yeah, this is looking like one of these spots where it happened in the past quite a few times actually, where you just had this kind of a grinding price up. Then when we couldn't sustain it, we basically filled all the kind of move back. You can see this, kind of grind up to the upside, flush down, grind to the upside here as well, flush down. So a little bit of a similar situation here. On the lower time frames, and this is like a H4. Like I said, we are at the resistance right now. I would be looking to maybe like break underneath these this is like the last consolidation basically that led to the leg up, so technically this is still at support. If we would start to break underneath that I would be most likely looking to go short at the start of the next week. And if we would actually start to break up, because one of the kind of thing with these kind of SFP candles, and I think I spoke about this. We spoke about this last stream or maybe weeks before. Is that there was an example on Solana basically where we have these kind of like daily. This is 12-hour chart, but we have like these daily SFP candles. And market cannot even break underneath the low of the day. Basically, this is like the daily open. If you're gonna take a look very quickly to Solana, yeah, it's the same situation. It's the same situation basically like here, where after this day everyone was looking to go short, but the market kind of cannot even break underneath the low of that kind of a candle that made this SFP. Little similar situation here on BTC. So I'm not trying to rush anything, especially on Sunday. But yeah, also what I want to mention, if we actually continue to go up, which is also the possibility, this kind of a range. We had a bunch of these throughout the year, these kind of very tight consolidations after a significant move up. We had one here. We kind of had one here in February as well, this leg up here and then kind of this to the downside. But these can easily continue as well. If this would continue, I think what is kind of interesting point of view, the way that I look at a lot of these kind of price action concepts is that we have basically this untested level. This is the 37.5 whatever price. That kind of weekly resistance. You can see the consolidation led to this move up. But then if you're gonna take a look at above it, there is nothing really untested here on the daily chart. Basically this kind of a you always kind of want to be trading at the fresh levels. Not really trading levels of SR or whatever that has been like tested a few times, because there's not much of a resting liquidity there anyway. And you can see basically how this is your untested level here, but then this basically this week tested this level, this kind of structure here got tested there. So next untested level I can see here on the daily chart at least is 43k area basically. So if we would really start to continue to go up, I don't even know how much this is percentage wise. Yeah, like 17% move to the upside is kind of a god candle situation basically. If that would happen on BTC, then I would be the structure like this would really make me kind of feel like we would be hitting like at least 40, but 43 would be kind of my target for that. So yeah, I think pretty simple when it comes to my kind of plan for next week. Basically, if we start to break down, if we lose that kind of a Friday open, Friday low on the lower time frames, is also this kind of consolidation. If we trade underneath that, then I would feel like this high from Friday is kind of a intermediate. Top is in, at least for next few days, next few weeks. I would be looking to get short, targeting whatever we kind of get here. I would be basically exiting on a very similar situation like this. When you had this kind of a flush to the downside on high relative volume without any sort of follow through, would be my kind of signal to get out from the shorts if I would get these, somewhere around this area. If we actually just started, continuing up, show decent amount of strength, then I would really feel like, kind of this low should hold, or like this low should hold right here, you basically have this kind of a SR flip situation. Once again, I would love to see situations similar to maybe something like this, where you have this kind of high relative volume breakout. These red candles basically, these kind of high relative volume breakouts that don't fade immediately, and then just looking for any sort of pullback to get in. So yeah, my plan for BTC for this week, it's nothing too complicated. Just being more careful, basically, considering the fact that we are at weekly resistance, but don't really try to play capo here and just short it back to 12k because we are at some weekly level. When it comes to ETH, I don't know. It's just pain in the ass. I'm not going to even say how many times I tried to take a long targeting this 2150 level. Basically these kind of this double top. At this point, everyone is talking about this on Twitter as well. I kind of gave up, so it's very likely that kind of means that we are going to get it done on Monday morning. But yeah, I feel
Thanks
like
for your sacrifice.
yeah, but ETH is still looking fairly decent on a weekly. Really we have these highs, so I wouldn't be kind of touching it. Before that, I just had some longs, in this kind of area throughout the week, but we didn't. Once again, they took it on Friday, kind of selling down a little bit as well. I don't know. I just feel like in a lot of these situations, like when obviously these are the things when a lot of people are on CT are going to talk about this as well. These kind of price action, double bottoms, double tops. You will see basically. I remember these from like last year. Basically, there has been a lot of talk about this double bottom. About this double bottom here as well. So this was like start of this year. This was like summer 2022. I like to take trades like targeting these because they very often get taken, but I feel like there has to be some sort of point where ETH is going to do something like this, and you'll be like, yeah, but there is a double bottom here. It's not really the best way of doing things in my opinion. So yeah, there is this clean double top now, which I feel like is going to get traded, but the way that this is just taking so much time to do it, I'm generally just staying away. I don't know if BTC, yeah, it's also kind of slowing down. BTC really felt like after this huge impulse and kind of a retest of it holding to have this kind of next strong leg up, but it's a classic ETH basically.
You need to go on higher time frames, man. To change by.
Yeah. This is like weekly. This is 12 hours, so it's like daily almost. So it's not that like lower time frame chart, but yeah, it's just I don't know. ETH has been a little bit of a disappointment. Like there are very nice trades on ETH you can take, but in terms of like actually large kind of moves and legs, it always feels like to me that it's going to kind of underperform when it really should shine. So yeah, I don't have any kind of strong view on ETH or any kind of strong trade that I would take at this point.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add, please, there's 85 people watching. Leaving a like helps the show, so yeah, maybe I can quickly switch to mine for a sec. When it comes to Bitcoin. I streamed yesterday, but long story short, if the ETF bros are basically right, because that's been a topic we discussed here on the show many times. I mean, just like everybody. Also, quick comments to your monologue in the beginning. You're probably the only person on CT talking about even considering shorting, so if it plays out, you should be like, thanks for playing, mentioned this 11 weeks ago.
Like, because I do feel like this, and this might be, one of my casual stupid takes on everything, but like with what happened with CZ obviously this week, with Binance and everything, there is like a huge consensus now that, just send it, ETF coming. It's like, I don't know. This is like the only thing I see people talk about basically at this point. Is like, ETF is happening. There is no reason to ever go short or ever go lower basically. But And I think a lot of people expect ETF to happen sooner than the 10th of January, which you probably have some better comments to that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we would get like some decent flush basically before that kind of ETF announcement and next huge kind of leg up.
I guess I can very quickly, because I feel like we're boring people at this point with this stuff, but I do agree with you on the sentiment side of things, like basically up only, long everything, tell your mom to buy Dogecoin type shit until ETF is approved. Then I think it's pretty good idea to have at least realistic expectations when it comes to the ETFs. So this is, I guess, a bit of aggregate of the ETF bros alpha, which is our Eric Balkunas, James Seifert, SG Johnson, and many others. I don't want to turn this into Follow Friday speech, but basically, if it was to be approved before Christmas, that leads us with Friday, December 22nd being the last day to be approved. Obviously, could be any working day before that, which is like actually 26 days to go. And if you remove weekends, it's like 19 working days. Like, obviously I'm making this up, but you can Google it literally. How many working days until this date? And if not before Christmas, like all the bull tarts are expecting, then we're talking January 10th is the actual SEC final deadline for ARK, which is a KT Wood spot ETF. So we should get, and that's a final deadline, so there shouldn't be any delays anymore. So if I'm not mistaken, not a lawyer, not financial advice, do your own research, NFA, we should get either approval or denial of this specific ETF. Which, why I think it's relevant, because if we look at the move from October 15th, when basically all this up only started, it has been to now 43 days, right? Doesn't feel like it. And until the actual ETF, final deadline is 45 days. So I guess one could make a scenario or case where we're like halfway through of this, whatever. So I that's all I have on Bitcoin ETF. I think after, maybe we could potentially like again discuss or revisit the whole idea what happens on actual approval and what happens potentially to some of these rotations, altcoins, if BTC after Bitcoin spot ETF.
0. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I don't think that I've been trading a bunch of things throughout the years, but this is such a kind of a specific situation. I don't think I ever traded something with like this type of event when you kind of like know it's something should be coming, but you don't exactly know when it's coming, and especially crypto is such a kind of retail driven market, and everyone has opinion as always on everything. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I still feel like the actual ETF is likely going to be kind of sell the news type of situation. But yeah, it's very hard to predict these things, to be fair. Like I'm not really like can't really tell you what I'm going to be doing 3 months from now, and especially like how am I able to tell you what BTC is going to be doing 3 months from now type of situation. So yeah,
maybe only one thing I would like to add before we move on to altcoins with Bitcoin. I think everybody has this level. You mentioned the weekly. I'd like to talk about the monthly at 35 basically. So which is interesting because I've seen a lot of people compare it to the 60 range. So basically, you close a monthly above it, which is bullish, right? And then maybe potentially spike the high. That could be our ETF approval if we want to make the bearish case. And imagine closing below it again. That would be probably a confirmation of get the fuck out of old markets type situation. But
yeah,
I mean, we're literally as we start speaking, market is up only. So as always,
it's really far from like monthly situations and all of these. It's really a little too far basically, and I think even though I hold trades for a little longer than I used to now, like we don't really hold things for months. So I feel like with a lot of these kind of discussions and looking at such high time frames, it's like okay, it's not nice content maybe, but like for actual trading, and at the end of the day, that's kind of the only important thing is that if you are able to take trades and make some money, from it, it feels like, especially I don't know, at least from my type of trading, it's almost kind of irrelevant to looking at monthly charts, because I know that I'm not going to be holding something for 5 months basically based on a monthly time frame. So
maybe just promise last things on the Bitcoin thing. I switched to your screen, by the way, but
yeah.
Interesting thing to watch out for is GBTC discount, it's Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and the Bitcoin miner companies, which is Riot and Mara. And basically GBTC is right now at the smallest discount it's been in a very long time. It's around 8%. You can see the data in Velo data, for example. So it's basically a lot of people betting on it happening. So I think we can move on to altcoins.
We can move on to the altcoins. I think that's been what I feel like most people been trading altcoins anyway. When it comes to actual narratives, I feel like we don't have that much to talk about. There is like not that many kind of events coming towards the end of the year. Obviously, someone is mentioning Blur. We have the Blur blast situation, which is what it is. I feel like.
I mean, we didn't get an allocation, so it's dog shit. Basically.
I wasn't in the people that were mentioned at the end of the announcement tweet, so I instantly hated basically. But
no, by the way, that's a joke before anybody.
Blur has been a decent mover. You probably remember that I said that it's going to be good long on somewhere in here. And that I'm not getting filled on it, so a little bit of a bittersweet situation for me. I think this is interesting trade because obviously for those of you that don't know, there is this blast layer 2 / not exactly layer 2 thing, which obviously you probably saw it because most of the usual suspects got allocation, and they've been shilling it on Twitter. Got some shit as well for it, but I think what's the most important thing is that obviously it's just new thing that has hype. There's always trade in these things, so it's good to kind of remove some emotions if you have towards the people and just kind of try to trade the thing. Since there is no token for Blast yet, I don't know if there is going to be. Probably it will be at some point. There's only thing you can trade is Blur because it's the same guy who made the Blast made Blur, if I'm not mistaken again. I feel like this trade is a little bit done at this point because the way this works is people. I'm just laughing even talking about how it works, but basically how it works. People send ETH there. They will keep ETH there until February. Is it February?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't get an allocation, so I didn't do my DD.
So basically people will send their ETH there, and it's basically going to sit there until February, and they will hope for the best. As stupid as it sounds, I believe it's like $450 million total value locked, so jokes on us, I guess. But when it comes to actual kind of trade, I feel like the trade was really there with Blur. People kind of betting on it. We had this huge leg up. Obviously, Blur is up. I think this is the announcement day. We had a little bit of a flush under these lows. Quickly reclaimed it. Blur went up 96% basically.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know since this is something that is happening in 3 months. February, 3 months from now. If this is really something that I want to be paying attention to anymore, I feel like this kind of thing happened. If anything, this looks like a decent short now. There has been some FUD as well. Like only 5 people on the multi-sig or whatever. But if I want to be trading Blur, I most likely want to be looking at it sometimes like towards the end of January. When the Blast thing is going to launch, basically, because once again there is no token, so people that do not have their money locked inside it, they will be most likely betting on Blur, being the trade there. So yeah, I think this has been a nice trade, but I feel like it's a little bit of a done at this point.
Maybe just to quickly give it like the LDR. So basically a new project launched, Blur, Jesus Christ, Blast, that doesn't have a token. It has a very strong lineup of influencers and backed by Paradigm. It has the same team member or / founder or developer from Blur. So people basically, instead of how to basically bet on a success or on the whole hype, they went long Blur, and Blur by itself had a bunch of the airdrop season 2 thingy happening. So it's basically a lot of like things happening at the same time for Blur, and you can suspect is it's orchestrated or not. We're not here to discuss that. I just want to help understand it in context. And obviously when a coin starts getting a lot of volumes, then you might have all the exchanges getting it listed as well, right? So what also happened on that blow off top with Blur was basically this is the Binance spot listing, because there was a Binance futures listing, but there was no spot markets. So basically Binance listed the spot, and that was the death, pretty much death of the trade.
I'm really salty about this. I believe I spoke about this here. Basically what I did though, I kind of layered limits around 34 cents and never got filled. But
you made us some money, so thank you.
Nice, yeah. I just called it, and Runner took it, and he made money. I didn't, so kind of a classic situation. But very nice trade. Also from order flow perspective, you maybe didn't need to know anything about what was being kind of going on, but with basically you can see funding when this kind of got very quickly bought back up. Funding died towards like 0.01, which is not extreme, but for a coin that has like average funding around, there are some dips on funding, but in general pretty much around the baseline, signaling kind of a spot demand coming into this. These are spot buyers because they are driving price above the perp. And then your exit signal, this is Binance listing, huge liquidation candle, kind of a blow off top, trade is over basically. So yeah, for those of you took it, nice one, and just the order flow kind of a setup, pretty good looking as well.
Maybe just the last thing, like Blur is essential NFT marketplace. So also think of it really as like a proxy for NFT market, which I'm not sure I haven't been paying attention. We're dumping, by the way. ETH is down $11, so it's.
So.
One second, let me put some limits lower.
I'm going to clip the first minute of the stream when I said that we are at resistance, and I'm going to just post it on Twitter, and thanks for playing.
I'm buying 0.1 ETH so I can call myself .ETH.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so Blur situation, like I said, I really personally feel like it's kind of a done with Binance listing, no kind of follow through on that. I don't really feel like the narrative that is basically happening for 3 to 4 months from now is worth to pursuing, and look at how much this is dying at this point as well.
Yeah, maybe we can now move on to gaming a little bit, because I
feel
like we're shitting on influencers.
I'm gonna show new tech which I noticed on Twitter. I think Hasaka shared it actually a few days ago. This is really nice. On coinglass.com, they added these kind of categories section to the derivatives, and you can kind of see all the different sectors, similar to CoinGecko or CoinMarketMan, but this is more kind of geared toward this kind of order flowy type of situation where you can just measure things by open interest and so on and so forth. Everything is.
Sorry to interrupt you. You know why we're dumping? You know what is the top gainer on Binance today? Luna Classic and USDC. USDC is up 200% today.
Nice. So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, one of the things that not exactly today, but in the last few days had decent amount of mention is gaming. Magic was one of the coins. We once again talk about it somewhere around this area.
I longed it actually.
Well. Nice.
But I closed after 4% move before 20% candle, so.
Nice. So basically classic trade. Nothing new. Yeah. So I don't know. Listen, like people I really don't know much about crypto games, to be fair, and I feel like I just keep repeating this kind of thing over and over again. Ape pumped a lot as well. Yeah, it seems a little bit like there is this kind of a new consensus. I saw a bunch of people talking about that AI and gaming is kind of a next big thing, which is coming to crypto. We talked about this last week a little bit. I don't know. You might have some more to say about this because, like I said, I never played any crypto games, so I just leave you to it basically.
So I'll switch to mine for a sec. With gaming, personally, also not like a believer that's future of finance, but gaming, it's one of the classic rotations. I would put it this way: I wouldn't like overthink it. I think what me and you often do is like completely mid-curve a lot of these. These rotations always happen. We have the LSD rotation, we have the AI rotation, which we literally just pump like to a bazillion on wild render and all of them. And now it's a big gaming time potentially. With Magic specifically, they announced some sort of, how do you call it, like basically they want to do something called like Magic Chain. That's why we had this massive fat candle a few days ago. Was it like yesterday? So that's a reason for that. Obviously, it's also Arbitrum beta. We also discussed the YGG conference, which was on 18th, right? So a lot of these gaming coins rallied off of it, which you have the classic Gala, Axifinity, Sandbox. But it's obviously leading to the metaverse category. So maybe if I'll switch to yours, but maybe in the CoinGlass categories, let's see what they have
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Gaming. It's right here. Yeah, it's like I think it's a little hectic the way that they make it, but yeah, there's Ape, GMT, Galaxies, YMX, Sand, Mana, Magic, big time.
Hell yeah, big time.
Which like kind of a classic gaming tokens. I don't know how they exactly make these. GMT had something
the game
as well, and it pumped a lot actually. And it's still kind of holding up.
I was looking at this at 26, thinking I'm late. Classic.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it actually.
But at the same time, like, how do you get an entry into this? Like, let's maybe focus on that.
Yeah.
Let's forget the narratives. Like, how do you get an entry on something that's, like, this is the cleanest example of TVAP probably ever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
this is the kind of a tricky part, because basically this thing had this flush on November 9th, and then for next 16 days it did this. It just grinded to the upside, and this is not like insane kind of order. Like there's basically nothing on order flow here. The funding is pretty much flat, so there's like not clean kind of signal of like large. Like if someone was buying spot here, they were more kind of a sophisticated buyer, so they didn't just completely nuke the funding. The open interest is also very flat, and then you just have this kind of a immediate push up. This is this kind of a vertical accumulation type of pattern, where things just like slowly grind up, and usually you have this kind of a leg up before it's going to basically just reverse the whole thing. So yeah, these are extremely hard trades to get in. If you have like strong conviction, one of the best things is just like ape in, use a little bit of a wider stop, and just hope for that kind of a overshoot before closing the trade. But I hate.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say that I just like hate to buy things that just do this basically.
I might want to draw something very quickly, like what we see a lot with these basically TVAP type thingies. It's like you have this, as you said, these basically grind up, right? So you could draw some sort of channel. Oh my god, I'm drawing TA patterns, it's fucking over. Then you have the fucking big arrow here. Like, oh, massive arrow. No, like, jokes aside, but basically you have the expansion, right? Or acceleration if you're like doing mathematics. And this is usually where you want to get the fuck out. So.
Yeah. You're just gonna overshoot it and then, get out. Cool. So gaming, I think it's just the rotation type of situation, I don't know, a lot of these coins, if you're just gonna look at also like higher time frames, on stuff like Axis, on stuff like, okay, Magic is this kind of exception because it broke outside of the range. Maybe if Magic, if they have like more things to deliver, to be fair, don't know 100%. If we can hold into this consolidation, we spend like month here consolidating. So if you're gonna go for a retest, then maybe this has like more like 3 upside. Other gaming tokens, I don't know, they are still quite kind of boxed in my opinion. So yeah, Ape would be one of those. If it has some legs up, then it should hold this kind of a retest area if you're gonna get that.
But if you want to laugh, just go for like Ape weekly chart and zoom out.
Yeah. It's like it's just like Ape looks like this. Axis obviously. It's we are here basically.
Maybe we're total mid-curving it, maybe like this goes to 50 again, but it's just with Axie.
Like obviously, kind of a zoom out type of meme when you look at something which is like completely fucking direct from over the years, but at the same time, if Axis, for example, would pull back. This looks like shit already, but like if this would like start a trade and it would go, let's say to $13, it's still amazing trade basically from here. Like who cares that it's down like 250 million% from all-time high. Like I don't really care if I cannot take a nice trade, which I will hold for like 50% to 100% and just close it and forget about it forever basically. So
maybe somebody is asking a good question. Like we basically discussed dead gaming tokens, or respectfully dead. By dead I mean old, right? With a pretty shitty chart. Okay, well this is also pretty old.
I don't know what this is. To be fair, I see someone. They are launching on Epic Games tomorrow.
Does it have a Binance spot?
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't have perps.
So potentially, the trade of last few weeks could have been. This is actually, I think, a relatively decent. How to call it? My English right now. So basically, I think there's probability this gets a perp listing on Binance.
Yeah. Like and you could see this with Magic. Like when you have like narrative, and it doesn't have to be the strongest one, but if the token doesn't have a Binance listing on either perps or spot, you have this kind of additional bonus points basically. Yeah.
Oh no, don't worry, Binance spot listing imminent. 2 years later.
I would say that Binance is not in the best situation at the moment, so they are pretty kind of generous with listings. They don't really wait too long.
They listed the bonk the day the CZ was basically sent to Goblin Town. So I think it invalidates your. Wow, ETH is really dumping. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know what is ILV. We talked about last week about Prime, which is not the fucking sugary drink, but the token for the parallels. Listen, this one is at least on Steam. That must mean something, but obviously it pumped a lot.
I closed at like 3.8.
Nice. Yeah, so this one would be interesting. It's not on Binance, so another extra call points. If we would manage to pull back, and if the game is gonna come to Steam, which should, I'm not going to log into my Steam now.
Please don't, you're gonna dox again something.
Yeah, but it's there already. It's like coming soon. I don't know if this would trade somewhere back towards like what is this, like $4-5 area. Probably a good spot to get some. Probably a spot. This doesn't even have perps. It's also kind of shitcoin as fuck, so like it can go all over the place basically.
Yeah, I feel really weird talking about this specific coin.
Someone is asking about unlocks. I don't know. I feel like unlocks are kind of a
dead meta.
Yeah. It used to be a good thing to trade. I traded few this year as well, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just at the end of the day, it's interesting to, in my opinion, to look at unlocks because it just brings more people to the given market. But it's not really a kind of a straightforward go short, go long when there are unlocks type of situation, you know. So.
And DYDX was like a proponent of it, right? Basically, it was the first project to fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Last year when they had a massive unlock and they basically said, "Hey, we decided to postpone it," and basically the token went ballistic.
Yeah, and it also happened this year. There was supposed to be unlock on 1st of December, and I don't think it's happening for DYDX. But yeah, DYDX got hacked. I was kind of expecting something that I was a little bit disappointed about. You might remember I mentioned the GMX. It didn't really do much. When the CZ situation happened, you know, I was expecting the kind of DEX coins to rally way more than they did. So. Not.
Yeah, I think like it was a bit forced from classic CT pump and dumpers. The whole DEX thing, like the fact that it didn't get any traction, just speaks volumes, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, it's not like, you know, Binance is going down situation.
Yeah, it's literally just like everybody knows he's still gonna be. We could maybe chat a bit about the whole Binance, CZ, and Mr. Tang.
Yeah.
What is his Mr. Tang name?
BNB here.
Oh Jesus. Boy. Picasso.
I don't know. One of the things that I feel like, for example, which can get affected by the CZ leaving is BNB, because like there is this huge kind of cult around CZ and you know BNB. So that's I feel like is like the only thing that's gone at the moment. So we might get a break underneath $200 after 2 years or whatever this was. So.
And if you want to see proper FUD, do BNB BTC pair.
Oh yeah.
Oh nice. Boy. Oi oi oi.
Yeah, this is pretty down only for last 2 years. Sorry, not 2 years. Yeah. I don't know.
Ironically, there's an easy level. Like I think there's the support for like the highs from 2019 and the consolidation. Like, yeah. I think that might be a decent punt.
Yeah, like if we would hit this and BNB would at least go to like 180, that's basically kind of a Capo's win lap dance as well, because I know he's been posting again that he's short from like $300. So if we would hit that level on BNB BTC, we would kind of trade underneath 184 at least, you know, underneath these lows. That this might be actually a decent long.
Can we check STX? Yeah, we can check STX.
Oh, I haven't traded this for a long time.
Can you do a bit slower time frames? Yeah.
It's going up, but you know, relatively this is 12-hour chart. It's at the same price for a month. You know, this is like 20th of October. I don't know, like.
It's actually underperforming Bitcoin. If you do STX BTC, it's probably like, down only.
When I trade altcoins, this is OKX chart,
but that is not a good looking chart at all.
Yeah, like when I trade altcoins, I really want to be kind of trading the things that are kind of breaking out and shit, and not being stuck in a range and just hoping basically for the best. So, nothing really interesting there. I know some DeFi things were pumping, but that just feels so.
I mean, you know, pumping after it's down. I don't know. I think in this show, like, we are relatively doing well trading the things that have something coming up.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, right? And not like pick a random chart and say, oh, eventually it will go up. It's probably not the style of trading we really do. It's more of a, hey, this has a catalyst in 5 weeks. What would be the levels to buy, where we kind of want to get the fuck out, both like profit or potential invalidation, and I do believe that is where we did well in recent weeks.
World token is interesting. It's, you know, it had there was like fucking soap opera situation in OpenAI. This was like peak comical with the guy getting fired. Basically the whole OpenAI situation was like, it's so over, we are so back within like 48-hour period, back and forth. But yeah, I think the chart is looking pretty good. It break. There is like nothing above it. This is, and I talked about this a lot. Like these type of tokens that when there is no PTSD on the left, basically. I know this has like quite a shitty tokenomics. The FDV and whatever is super high. I don't even know, but yeah, I think this if the AI is going to kind of keep being hot, which I personally believe it will. This is a nice looking chart, and like at the end of the day, you have tokenomics and all these things, but at the same time, if people are just going to buy, it's just going to go higher basically. So yeah, this is looking nice. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of, once again, how this kind of grind it up into the breakout, but if this is going to continue to go up, then I would be most likely looking to get long on BLD. Yeah, and all the other AI tokens are still holding up fairly well as well. So I believe they, especially Fetch and Render, I think are the best ones, and even Ajax.
Ajax.
So yeah, how is it called?
I don't know.
I think the AI coins is going to be a hot kind of narrative throughout the next foreseeable future, in my opinion. With all the things that are going to be coming out, and the AI coins are very easy kind of beta for people to just bet on this. Like I'm much rather just buy some AI shitcoin rather than opening TradFi broker and buying Nvidia calls or shit like that, basically.
I think one thing to like contextual with altcoins, a lot of these charts are fairly overextended, I guess, if one was looking to be bearish. And my problem is, if you're right with the resistance scenario, if we get like a nasty basically Bitcoin daily candle or weekly, all of these altcoins will basically print -20 to -40% candles.
I think like, so yeah, sorry.
No, that's it.
Yeah, like the way that I like to look at these things, and once again, it's like a huge mid curve, but it works sometimes, is when you look at chart like this from like the simplest, there is no order flow, there is nothing, there's just price action. Like you have a fucking resistance here, turned break, and basically turning support right here at this point. Everyone is buying here. It's like, this is like a textbook SR flip type of situation. If you're gonna search support and resistance on YouTube, I'm pretty sure someone already fucking putting example like this on the chart to enter. And these tend to work, don't take me wrong, but I love to see situations like these, basically, where people buy, it might bounce a little bit, but then we get the huge flush. All these people that bought early are going to get fucked. We're gonna reclaim the level back again, and basically you're gonna long here. It doesn't have to happen. There are a lot of situations where clean SR flip is being clean SR flip. Something like this, for example, this is very clean as well. Although we you can see that at least in this situation we kind of took out these lows. So yeah, it's just when I always take a trade, I love to see this kind of a stop run, people getting fucked at least a little bit, and it sometimes only happens on lower time frames when you just see that like a smaller liquidation spike or whatever. But yeah, when things are too clean and kind of too good to be true, they usually are. Expect when you have like very, very strong trending markets and everything is just going insane, which I don't think, like the kind of a strongest momentum moves we had with like BTC being at resistance now as well, I think they are kind of over, and I don't know, it's just personally feel like,
bro, how does WorldCoin have $27 billion FDV or 26.3? What the fuck? Let me look at Celestia. Remember Celestia? I remember like when everybody and their mother bought the bottom, and now everybody forgot. Like,
what you mean? Everybody and their mother expect from us here?
Yeah, it just. I guess it's. I think why is it a great example is with this like basically following influencers for calls. Like what I kind of. One could say that's because we suck at trading, which is also a valid argument. But like, you know, when the whole timeline is bullish about a coin, and then they all collectively decide to forget about the ticker because their main paid group leader, you know, is no longer talking about it type situation. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I think Celestia was very similar, short-lived Aptos basically. You know, Aptos in January for like 2 weeks, you didn't hear anything else than Aptos, and then it just like lost completely the interest from people, and it's been
because certain influencers stopped talking. All right, but it is what it is. Let's not.
And we had this was way quicker. This was a week basically, 8 days of like non-stop Celestia talk. You know, no one is talking about it anymore. You know, we kind of losing levels here as well on higher time frames. I think this is not something that I would personally look to long down.
Watch next week, $10, Mark.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's kind of actually pretty dry in terms of narratives. Like, you know, meaning, let's say last few weeks we had the Nvidia earning, right? And you had this like, or like when Solana rallied, you had all these layer ones with AVAX and all of them basically. And it's all kind of slowing down, which could be the classic case of consolidation is a form of a shakeout as well. Maybe like being classic counter indicator as always. But like for me, like this Bitcoin candle does not, like, I know it's red. But like we need to lose some levels for me to
I just think that okay, like if we're gonna get next leg up, and I think Solana is a nice example of it because it basically does nothing in the last 2 weeks. You know, it slowed down heavily. I would love to see, you know, let me just draw a box of this range. If I want to be buyer on Solana, I want to see basically something like this. I really want to see people getting fucking wrecked, you know, everyone's saying it's so over, and then we're gonna just, you know, bounce back very quickly and are back again type of situation. But it's surprising though, like I've really felt like with, you know, this recent run up, I kind of expected more projects to be, you know, trying to just pump the shit of everything coming towards the end of the year, coming towards the ETFs and everything, but it's been fairly dry on like actual news and releases and stuff like that.
I think a big chunk of it is just projects really not really understanding the cycles or the hype thingy, you know, but maybe that's for another stream. But yeah, a lot of projects really, you know, they don't get the memo. They're actually trying to build instead of pump their shit.
Maker is basically the only thing that is kind of pumping at the moment with the real world assets, whatever that's called. Okay, so with all of this being said, someone mentioned Link. Yeah, Link is still kind of holding up fairly well, but at the same time it's been at the same price for the last 2 weeks. So I don't know, like I don't want to, you know, I can draw the fucking fib thing. This is 50%. Do I want to be trading in the middle? Most likely not. You know, I want to be trading at here, or I want to be trading at here. So when it comes to actual trades, I would just rather wait to get some of these extremes basically to jump in. And you can see there is like no high relative volume candles. You know, no one is very clearly getting shaken out and stuff like that. So I just not something that I'm interested in.
Do you still pay any attention to macro events? There is like PC and other COPE coming up this week, and we have FOMC in like 8-9 days.
I don't think. Look, I've been trading legacy markets way more recently as well. I kind of jump through these personal cycles when I just completely don't pay attention to legacy markets, then kind of come back and so on and so forth. I've been trading legacy markets a lot lately. I will just quickly show you Euro. This is a 14th of November. This is 12 days ago. If I'm not mistaken, this is CPI. 2 weeks ago, dollar 2 weeks ago died basically during the CPI. BTC during the CPI did this candle, you know, so like what's the point basically? You know, CPI came out better. Look at the S&P as well, you know, huge leg up, kind of held as well. I was longing after that a little bit. But yeah, you can see the kind of reaction, like the non-existent reaction in crypto basically. So I pay attention to the events because I trade the markets, but for like average, you know, crypto enjoyer, I wouldn't be really bothered to look.
Gotcha. I think we kind of covered everything. We might.
Someone asked. This is. Mm-hmm. I would love to hear your opinion. Someone asked if you have to pick 3 coins for the next bull run, which should it be?
Thanks for watching the stream and have a nice day. No, Bitcoin, ETH, USDT.
Nice. That's like the most classic and sad response ever.
I mean, me and Adam basically spent not the whole weekend, it sounds so weird, but we discussed vacuum cleaners, rychlovarné konvice, I don't know how to say it, and like, you know, basically midlife crisis talk. So I'm not sure we're the best barometer for which shitcoins are gonna retire my next. Just no.
Yeah.
Please, no.
I don't know if at these prices, but like I feel like personally, I think Solana is going to do well. You know, it's just it will. And I think I still feel like there's going to be a lot of talk about the AI. I'm kind of, you know, I'm never really much opinionated on anything, to be fair. I kind of like to just draw my lines and take it from there most of the time.
What but yeah,
I think next year, you know, like I still feel like AI is going to have a lot of kind of things coming with bunch of stuff and all these. I don't know, like people long WorldCoin because it's just a kind of a closest thing to the OpenAI, which is the biggest thing at the moment. But you know, like Render, I believe is very closely kind of tied to Nvidia with what they are doing. I might be completely wrong, but it's like the graphics card shit and, you know, all these other coins. I don't even know, to be fair. I know that you are biggest Fetch AI fanboy,
yeah,
since
boy.
you wrote a book about it. but yeah, I feel like, you know, like a lot of people are just bidding the AI coins now because they are AI coins, but there are not any of these that are like, you know, having actually kind of like that use case or whatever. Also, I think AI is going to be one of the biggest kind of grifts and scams in the next year. So you need to be like giga careful of what you are going to actually be buying, basically, when it comes to AI stuff.
I would close out to actually give some serious answer with the coins. We say it every time. A lot of people say it as well. It's basically the new coins, new tech, new projects, new charts. So I'm personally pretty bullish on stuff like at no price points in particular, but basically projects like you know, up and coming Monad, your PIFs, you know, stuff like that, or Beta Chain if they eventually actually launch. So basically new stuff that people can speculate on. Even like the Blast situation we discussed kind of shows you the appetite in new shit, right? How much did they raise? Like $500 million from people? Like just or like Friendtech at the time, right? Like a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's basically the whole premise of new shiny shit. You cannot do XE-Bot 11 edition. No. It has to be, you know, that's why we see this trend with a lot of projects doing rebrands, because what rebrand and changing a ticker does, it resets the chart. So I think that's basically what I'll do. I don't want to share projects, especially in maybe super early stages. This is not what we do. You have to put in some time yourself. I'm sorry. But projects that are yet to launch and are about to launch soon or next year. I think you should pay attention to those. And I would end it on that note. We're 1 hour in and...
Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. We are going to be back next week, next Sunday at the usual time. If you enjoy the stream, if you want to show some love and support, you can make an account on Woo. And after you will open your first trade, you will get the benefits that you see on the bottom of the screen. And with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you in 7 days from now.
Auf Wiedersehen. Bye bye.